Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today we will be talking about one player from each NHL team that desperately needs to win a Stanley Cup. And these are going to be out of the remaining 4 teams in the playoffs. For starters, we'll just say that 2 of the 4 have already won a cup on this list. But we're going to talk about why them winning another one would probably be a big deal for them. So, we'll be going in alphabetical order, and we'll be talking about the Montreal Canadiens. And before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. But back to it, we'll be talking about goalie Carey Price. You probably could have guessed it by the thumbnail, but Price, we all know, is already well into his way to making the Hockey Hall of Fame, with a similarity score of that around Patrick Waugh through 14 seasons. And if you don't know who Patrick Waugh is, you should probably look him up. He's really good. Now, Price is 21st all-time on the wins list, and has a very good chance, I think, of catching Ryan Miller for that 14th spot next season, while also being 33rd all-time for shutouts, 27th for goals saved above average, and he is 16th for all-time save percentage. And oh yeah, he has a Vezina trophy under his belt. We all know that he's definitely going to go into the Hockey Hall of Fame, it's for sure, but with a cup, it would be huge for his legacy. The Canadiens haven't won a cup since 1993, and this feels like, a lifetime, especially for older Habs fans that were winning the cup on a routine basis back in the day. Now, with Price and net, they actually haven't advanced farther than the conference finals, and with the goalie creeping towards 34 years old, his chance to be a number 1 goalie, probably declining every year mathematically. Now, in short, his time is running out, and so are his opportunities. Now, I think this year could be his best chance, and he's making the most of it, I'll give him that. And with Montreal likely to be remembered as a team that if they did win the cup, they won't be remembered as a dominant team, as they actually finished with one more win than the last place Vancouver Canucks in their division. But you have to remember, Price will still be a major factor for them if they do win the title. For one of the best goalies of our generation who still doesn't have a cup, ending the title drought for the Canadiens and for Canadian teams would be indescribable, and it would be incredible for his career, and like we always have said on here, his cult-like following would continue to grow. So, with that being said, we're going to move on into our next player, and that'll be the player for the New York Islanders, which is center Matt Barzal. You're probably thinking, that seems crazy because a player who's only played 4 full seasons would not realistically need to desperately win a Stanley Cup. But hear me out, I had to make a pick, and this is why I made this pick. John Tavares left Barzal after an amazing Calder season. His rookie year where he was just insane, the 2017-18 year. That was the only time that Barzal averaged over a point per game. And while points aren't everything, his point totals average have not been where they have been in that rookie year. The following 2 seasons were pretty disappointing after that, as the season after his rookie year that Tavares left, Barzal's point total dropped 23 points in the same amount of games. That was huge. However, things were pretty promising this year, I'd say, and it wasn't the amazing rookie season, but part of that could have been that he hasn't been able to draw penalties as much as he did in his rookie year. He picked up a high secondary assist total in that season as well. Those are 2 things we could be looking at. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is how people use the word superstar with Barzal. And I'm not there yet. I'm not comfortable using the term superstar. While he is an incredible young player, and, he is going to be a great player over his career, I'm not going to say he's a superstar yet. And I'm not saying winning a Stanley Cup would make me say that, but I think it would go a long way for me to say that and feel more comfortable saying that if he played in the Stanley Cup Finals and played well, and, the offensive numbers go back to what they were that Calder season. Now, moving on, we'll be talking about the next team and the next player. Guess what? Now we're in the range where you talk about the 2 players that have already won titles. That is Tampa Bay Lightning center Steven Stamkos. Yes, I'm aware that Steven Stamkos, certified goal scorer, silky smooth shot. After all, he's 60th all-time for shooting percentage, 17th for goals per game, and 10th for even strength goals. Those are all-time. That's impressive. The man can score more Genos than he knows what to do with. The only problem is he's played in 2 Stanley Cup Finals And there's kind of reasons people will discredit those. The first is that when he played against the Chicago Blackhawks in the 2015 Stanley Cup Finals, in those 6 games he only got 1 point, that being an assist. He also didn't record a goal on 13 shots, and over the course of his career during the regular season, he averages about a goal every 6 shots, so that's pretty rough there. Then last year he was dealing with an injury. I'm not going to say that's his fault, but he did only get to play 1 game in the finals against Dallas, and while he did score a goal, he only played 2 minutes and 47 seconds in that game, and that's where critics will say he didn't win the cup because he wasn't, a guy that played really any time in the cup, and that's kind of a tough thing right there to talk about. But we do have to focus on the fact that he has only 2 points in 7 Stanley Cup Finals games, and that's a pretty eye-catching stat, especially for a player of Stamkos' caliber. So is Stamkos a Hall of Famer? Yes. But him performing up to the caliber that he normally does in the regular season in the Stanley Cup Finals, I think would go a long way in saying Stamkos is actually a key player for the Bolts winning a Stanley Cup. Now, finally, we probably have our weirdest candidate, but you probably have guessed them as well, and I think you'll understand it. And that's the goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights, Marc-Andre Fleury. And at this point, you're probably thinking I'm crazy. I can't blame you, considering Fleury has already won 3 Stanley Cups. Well, listen, hear me out. I understand. But we have to think what the Penguins did to him to understand where I'm coming from. They left him unprotected in order to save Matt Murray for Vegas. And yes, that made sense at the time. Matt Murray was playing well. Fleury kind of had that really bad year. You got a young goalie that was playing well, an old goalie that was playing bad. So it looked like it would work out. But that trade sent a franchise icon, all-time great in what people, view him as. And they sent him to an expansion team, which is about as bad as it looked. You go to an expansion team, historically, expansion teams perform poorly. But what they got was the worst case scenario, as their young prize goalie Matt Murray's play fell off a cliff and old man Flower revived his career behind a talented Vegas team. They have a great chance of winning the cup every year, but simply just winning one would be huge for him. We know he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He has a similarity score of that comparative to, I think, Ed Belfour, my notes say, and that is impressive, especially after all the years that he's played. He's 35th all-time for save percentage, 14th for shutouts, and 3rd for wins, and a realistic shot, I think, of getting 2nd all-time for wins, and he could win a Vezina this year in what is arguably one of his best years in his career. So yet again, you're probably thinking, Hockey Brigade, why in the world would winning the Stanley Cup Finals for the 4th time mean so much? And let me explain it like this. Think of it less as an insult and more a sign of triumph for Fleury. He'd be able to hoist the holy grail of trophies for the 4th time and let the hockey world know Pittsburgh made a mistake, and it's about as big as a mistake as you can, as he would win a title, and Murray's not even there anymore, he's in Ottawa. And I don't think Flower would ever be disrespectful towards the Penguins, but I'm sure, like anybody else, if he's been released from his job and he, provided so many great years, he'd want to, theoretically prove them wrong at his next job, and then this would be the case for him in Sin City. And we'll see how that goes. He has a really good chance this year, and we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, that's all for this video. Who do you think needs to win the cup the most for a player on these teams? Also, who do you think needs to win it the most that isn't on these teams? Let me know down below in the comments. And also, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. And everybody, stay safe. Have a great day. Stay away from COVID, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.